right, time to see how this goes. Yo, what's up, dudes? Hi. Yo. Oh, God. Anyway, hi. Happy. What the heck is this? The last couple of days have been a mix to me. Today's Wednesday? It's almost Thursday. Jesus, feeling better? About like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. In terms of functionality, about a 5 or a 6. My little girl is even more sick than me. So, yeah, we're just like getting through it. I pretty much have gone through my whole family being sick like the beginning of the year for like a month, and I wasn't. And then Ripley got sick again, which got me sick. And now, now we out here. Look exhausted. I am exhausted. But I'm a streamer. I'm supposed to look exhausted. That's like part of the job. If I look exhausted, it means I'm doing my job. Anyway, I'm going to nurse this coffee over here. We're supposed to look plague-ridden, okay? If streamers don't look plague-ridden, then what the hell are they doing? Out getting facials and shit? So, yeah. Hi, chat. There's a couple of things I want to try to talk about, including the recent fighting game drama, quote unquote. The fighting games are bad products drama. I don't want to go over the entirety of that person's like dissertation, but to talk about it, because it's mostly the conversation really lies in a spot that I have been investigating and have made my career around for a very long time. So yeah, like I think there's a lot of things to start breaking down and considering. Mount Rushmore? No, not the Mount Rushmore conversation. The talk about how, so here's what happened. Like, let me just break it down before we get into it, and before my voice goes out, because you know, I've seen every FGC creator react to that article. Right, I'm not going to do that. I've read quite a bit of it, and I understand exactly what it's going for, and a lot of the stuff I agree with, and some stuff I don't. So I'm just going to give kind of a different take on fighting games are quote unquote bad products, right? Okay, so let's begin sort of with a bit of a broader spectrum of this entire situation. Why is this happening? It's happening because specifically to XKO, and why can't like fighting games find success? You know, to XKO being a free-to-play fighting game has seemingly not been able to grab a sizable audience based on what it is for a variety of reasons, and usually not one of them are compounded to like one thing. There's usually like several things that come together to either have a fighting game find success or find its audience. And usually not like, sometimes it can be a multitude of things and sometimes it isn't, right? But I think what's interesting is that we can literally go back and start dissecting why, when, where, and how do fighting games find success. And as a reminder, we're talking about quote unquote success, okay? We're talking about like financial viability, which is very different than what the fighting game community, much less fighting game fans, are looking for. They're not looking for a product that is commercially viable, right? They are just looking for something to sort of like wet their whistle and be the game that they want. You know what I mean? But they also want a larger community. They also want larger tournaments. They also want new people to be brought into the scene in general, which is pretty much where I stand. I'm at that spot, and I have investigated this area of fighting games where early on it was all about making the established players better, and the people that are into this stuff become more fascinated, or the people that are first getting into it to become more fascinated to really understand what you're doing. I still do that. Just the whole point of like showing training processes and how that's enjoyable. But where I specifically stand as a veteran fighting game player, right? An ex-competitive person, even though I was always bad at being a competitive person, I will say the spot that I am the most comfortable and I am the most fascinated by of casuals turning into fighting game players is this spot that's in between, where what does it for people, right? in either whatever game you're talking about, what is the thing that bridges the gap that makes you all of a sudden super into this shit? In what ways can I show you or give you an opportunity to see those up, to see that chance, right? Because most people do not make a conscious decision when they love something or when they're falling in love with something. You don't make a conscious decision, dude. You're just going about your day playing a video game, like the way that 99.999% of people do, which is just playing it for the sake of playing it. But then something usually does it for you, man. Like something eventually grabs you. And the harsh reality is that usually isn't the gameplay. I'm going to bring up a clip from Brian F. And I'm actually very glad Brian, you know, an ex Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 competitor and super good at Street Fighter 6, right? I was recently on his podcast, and what I dig about Brian is that he kind of gets it. He understands why you have to think outside of the FGC like bubble for a moment to realize, like, so why is this either hitting or why it isn't not hitting? Because when you're so inundated with fighting games all day, every day, right? It's very hard to put yourself outside of that bubble to see what people are thinking or what's actually interesting. And that's the space that I try to be in. I try to be the person that is like in the bubble, but I cannot be like an SRK poster constantly, like back in the day, and have this just be like, oh, I'm godlike, you're a scrub, like type of mentality, which is important to becoming a better player, right? So Brian had a really good on Trash Talk, a really good little note that popped up, and it was a short that he put up with Idom. So check this out. Here's a quick little message from one of his latest Trash Talk episodes, which was specifically talking about like that 2XKO might be in trouble and like what constitutes a successful fighting game. Why couldn't this game find a success? It seemed like it was set up for success, you know? So check this out.
I hate to use this kind of term because I see people on Twitter and YouTube say this a lot, and I think it's ugly, but it's kind of true. Like, you either make the easy baby mode fighting game to get the people in to attract everyone to play, and then everyone starts playing it, because making the hard fighting game that's going to be too difficult to get people into, kind of like a 2SKO, is going to basically get the niche players, the sweaty tag player to play, but then it's not going to be able to sustain itself because the newer players the more so casual players aren't going to be really interested in getting, left right mix by this guy who has like 18 different mix-ups, also is one hit kind of thing.
Fair. Yeah. This is why this is the argument behind tag fighters, right? The argument behind fighting games in general also is that, man, we have to try to even the playing field as much as possible. And I'm gonna be completely honest, chat. I've been saying this for over 10 years. I think it's bullshit.
That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, okay, if that's all you're offering, then your product will fail. I think that's a much lower priority. I don't think the gameplay fucking matters.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Point. If they're focusing on gameplay, people don't give a shit about that. They want content. They want 30 or 40 league characters to pick their favorite champion. They want to press the super button and be like, wow, I like this character and that move. It looks so cool. Whatever you do to tweak the frame advantage on the mix-up and that shit does not matter, because that is the end of the funnel.
Yeah, and I love this description that Brian has here, which is that fighting game accessibility is like the end of the funnel. What you need to do is you need to widen the beginning of the funnel as big as possible to get people into it, because at the end is the people that drip feed in to become actual fans, people that will buy and continue to get other fighting games. I'm really glad that Brian is saying this, that he gets it, because I think once you start interacting as a content creator, once you start growing a sizable audience and you start interacting with a lot of people, you start to understand why this stuff doesn't hit. Like, you get a lot more impressions than the usual sort of like thought process that is around the fighting game community, to have a better understanding of like, oh, so this doesn't make for sales. This doesn't like better the fact that more people are going to get into this. It just makes a very subsect of the community happy, you know? So the funniest thing is that gameplay is not the thing that usually does it. So anyway, let him continue.
Is the end of the funnel. The problem is the funnel that is developed with 2xKO, it's already this tiny funnel. You need to have the giant opening in the beginning to capture the eyes, ears, and imaginations and the hearts of the people. And 2xKO does not have that. It does not have that, like, just inspiring awe, imagination, creativity. It just does not have that at all. And that's a lack of content. Maybe if they had 40 different fucking characters, they could have more of that appeal. It's just, it's too small, too niche, not enough stuff for people to dabble in. The high level gameplay can be as degenerate and as fucking stupid as you want. That doesn't matter. Like, that to me doesn't matter. But if that's all you have, then you better make that appealing. I do.
So here's the crazy part. Great. It's a great frame to freeze on for Brian here. You know what I think in terms of fighting game accessibility? I think fighting game accessibility is literally content. You know, I don't think fighting game accessibility is we're just going to make things easier to do for everybody, and that's the priority. I don't know if that is the thing that brings people in necessarily. I think giving people things will obviously get easier to do in games just in general, but they will expand, right? This is why I promote the idea in every single fighting game that comes out. You can simplify something, but you have to expand it, right? We have to give us more things that will happen if you are going to make the execution of something easier to do. People will bring Street Fighter 6 as an example of this with modern mode, right? But you have to remember, modern mode is done right. Modern mode is not optimal. It's not technically the best. It makes certain things easier, which means that it will be good at high level. Sure, it can be good, but when push comes to shove, do you want to be using that? No. Like, all the modern mode players that were the ones that were sort of propagating this at the beginning kind of switched over for the most part. Like, a lot of them switched over. And the reason is that modern mode was designed with flaws. It was designed to take away tools. It was designed to do less damage. This is the way you should do it. There should be an obvious upgrade path to get there, you know? An obvious reason for you to move out of doing the auto combo, to move away from doing the thing that is typically easy to do something that's really cool. Sagem also had a great video on this as well. Why can't fighting games just be sick, right? Why can't fighting games just be, like, incredibly sick? Disagree on that? There are top ranked players on modern. No, they're definitely no. Just, I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not saying people aren't there. You can still do that. But is there an upgrade path where they could be better if they didn't play on modern? 100%. Like, I'm not saying that they don't exist, but the upgrade path to become a person that actually has manual execution will always be there. There is always a benefit to move beyond it in some way. So, but do they need to? Well, they don't need to for their skill level, my dude. But in their skill level, are they playing at like an upper masters or something like that? Are they playing in online ranked? What constitutes something that is a skill level that makes sense to you? That depends on the person. It depends on who you want to, what is your comparison? Do they need to do good in tournaments? If they're at 1900 MR, should that not be allowed? It's like, no, dude, that makes sense that you're going to win by footsies and all that kind of shit. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is that, yeah, allowing people to do cool stuff and cool things happening when you press buttons is just good fighting game design, period. That just makes a good game, man. So I think that this entire idea of fighting games as a product does have an ounce of truth to it. Fighting games should be allowed to be sick. The high level should not be compromised for the low level. It shouldn't. There should just be a freedom of discovering stuff, because the majority of the players will never interact with the game in that way. Like, barely ever get a chance to interact with the game in that way. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to make the funnel as big as possible, you need to give people reasons to fall in love with your game. What are the best ways to do that? The number one best thing that you can do is roster. The amount of characters that are in the game, number one, this is an accessibility thing, like straight up. If you have more opportunities for people to grab a character that they love, then yes, that is a fighting game accessibility thing, right? Straight up. The larger the roster, the more of a chance that people will just become really good players. Granted, games like even this is a bit older now because our perspective has changed. Fighting games are more demanding nowadays than they were back in like the 2010s. So our expectations are much higher, straight up. So if you do have things that you can enjoy in a game, for example, through a lot of characters, there's a good chance for you to jump in. The funnel's getting bigger. What is the next thing? Well, how do I play the video game outside of playing online? I don't want to play online. Let's just say I don't want to play online. I want to play this like a normal video game. I'm not a freak and I'm not a sweat lord. Is there things that you can do in these games to engage with it outside of just playing online? And we saw time and time again with almost every single NetherRealm title that yes, if you have a bunch of stuff that you can do, there is an opportunity for you to fall in love and find something that you like about this through its story mode, through its living towers or anything to allow you to bridge the gap. At that point, the natural progress is that, oh man, I'm having so much fun playing this game offline, right? I'm having so much fun just enjoying the game that I want to take this online. I have some cool costume or some bullshit. Soul Calibur realized this all the way back to Soul Calibur 3, where even Soul Calibur, which was the reigning king of content in fighting games, added something to Soul Calibur 3, which was create a character, which was then adopted also by Tekken, where they realized, oh, people really love making Barbie dolls out of their favorite characters. People love turning Dragunov into a Barbie doll. This is a big deal, dude. At that point, every single Soul Calibur game, every single Tekken game moving forward would have creative characters in some kind for you to actually customize, enhance, build, and show off. I want to take my... Dude, I want to dress Lars up like Strider Hiryu and fuck people up in ranked. You know, pardon my French. I want to do that. I want to take my new custom and I want to go into here. That feels good, man. That's something that anybody can engage with. And a lot of people will engage with that offline. They'll just play the game, not even going online, and just fighting like arcade mode, fighting ladders, fighting ghosts, whatever, you know? So yeah, the gap is getting bigger. There's things for you to do, and there's things for you to fall in love with. So obviously content and characters is the number one thing of accessibility for fighting games, but not all fighting games can afford to do that, straight up. So now we got to start getting down to the nitty gritty of a situation, the nitty gritty. If gameplay doesn't really matter, then what does matter? Because we all know like, oh, the gameplay for this was really good. Oh, it was fulfilling a demand that like, you know, a lot of people like this stuff. There was clearly an audience for this. So why didn't it take off? How did it get Fatal Furied? What the hell's going on? And then we have to start looking, you have to pull yourself back a little bit. Let's start looking at a bunch of other fighting games that came out over the last few years that actually hit. The ones that actually like blew up in some way, that really managed to capture an audience and to pull people in, you know? If we're to go back all the way to when I started doing this with like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that game was relatively light in content, dude. But it had a shit ton of characters. Had a lot of Marvel and a lot of Capcom characters to fall in love with. So I personally feel that game got its sales and success from characters more than anything. And then people fell in love with the gameplay after that. However, I think we all forget. Excuse me, Chad, I'm still sick. Hold on. However, I think a lot of us forgot that Ultimate Marvel 3 bombed. It sold like 50,000 copies in the first month, dude. And that's because it came out with bad timing. That's because it was released way too close to the initial version of the game. It would go on to sell like over 2 million copies, but it would take a ridiculously long period of time for it to reach those sales. The game was eventually really discounted as time went along. And then because they didn't make any copies of the goddamn game, they barely made any copies of it, it would become very expensive in used game sales until 2016 when it was re-released. And like the Steam version came out, you know? So there was some things that eventually allowed it to find its audience. But let's go back to like, let's say like Dragon Ball FighterZ. This is the argument that I have where it's like, tag fighters can never be popular because they're too daunting for players just in general. Until you have a sick-ass game that people don't give a shit. People don't give a shit. You can have any game, dude. Like, legit. It could be a 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 6v6. Doesn't fucking matter. As long as your game is fulfilling a demand. Suddenly, you're like, oh, we've been asking for this shit forever, dude. Like, there has been a demand for something like this for a long time. And then something shows up and is like, here is that demand is being fulfilled. Damn, we've been asking for this forever. What could that be in the future? I can't tell you. If I could tell you what that was, it'd be almost like cheating this entire industry. But still, fighting games need to have like a demand. They also need to have a gimmick or a hook. And this is just true, dude. You could also release a super feature-rich fighting game that has story and single player and content, right? And a sizable amount of characters. Does that mean that game's going to sell? No, not at all. Is it because does the game fulfill a demand, or does it have an interesting gimmick to it? Here's a reminder. The best-selling modern SNK game that has existed is Samurai Showdown. Can we just take a moment to think of why that is? Why did Samurai Showdown sell like over 1 million copies? More than KOF 15, more than 14, more than everything. Was it a marketing thing? Clearly, we have seen a chance. We have seen an SNK game get an absolute ridiculous amount of marketing, right? And did that marketing result in City of the Wolves getting its sales? No. They spent tens of millions. Like, they spent more than the budget of the game giving City of the Wolves marketing, a game with good visuals and good gameplay, and it just didn't work, dude. So, why did Samurai Showdown work? I think it's pretty obvious. There was a demand, and it had a hook. Violence is a natural gimmick that will get people into games. Weird, crazy gore was the entire thing that made Samurai Showdown interesting back in the 90s. Also, Samurai Showdown had been missing for a long period of time, and a ton of people remember Samurai Showdown. It's a nostalgic title. There's reason for you to come back. This is the old Sam show that you remember. Oh, maybe I want to check that out. By the way, as a reminder, the gameplay is also some of the slowest shit in the entire industry. It's got like the slowest gameplay. It has terrible netcode. You know, the gameplay is either going to be hit or miss, depending on who you're asking. But it wasn't like this game was selling off of the gameplay. It had a gimmick, and it was fulfilling a demand. People wanted a Samurai Showdown game. It's been a long time, dude. So what happened? It sold. It sold well. In that same respect, so the rollback is terrible too. Oh, dude, no, the rollback was added like 5 years after it came out. Like that, and that was long after the game went through its sales run. Long after, you know? A reminder, there's another little game that came out that would go on to spawn like 3.5 seasons of content, almost 4 years of content, when what it debuted as was this little random Xbox Live Arcade game with no budget. And that game was Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct came out, launched with 6 characters, my dude. Roster was not the thing that got people. However, it was in a right place, right time. It launched on a console where people were desperate for games. And on that system, Killer Instinct was one of the best games on that system at the time. It also was fulfilling a demand. People knew of Killer Instinct, one of the best-selling franchises, like fighting game franchises of the 90s, and was finally back in some way. And then bam, comes back and is ridiculously successful. Is actually one of the most played Xbox Live Arcade games, or XB games in general, in the 3 years that it was out. Crazy. Goes on to get like 30 characters or some shit, dude. So anyway, it was fulfilling a demand. And it also had like kind of a gimmick. We have to start asking ourselves these questions with like modern fighting games. Were people asking for a City of the Wolves? It seemed like it, but at the same point, with the hindsight goggles that you put on, you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, people have had most of these characters, right? Like that's the thing that got me, where I realized the whole thing that got me into KOF was that some characters came back that I really liked. But since King of Fighters had been existing for like 10 years, and a lot of those characters, not every single one, but a lot of them, and the more popular ones had been showing up in King of Fighters games, it was more like, oh, I can see why this didn't hit, you know? It took too long for it to come out. Now it's just for dads, all that kind of stuff. So here's the problem. Your fighting games need to meet a demand. They need to have a gimmick. They also need to have good online and netcode to support the higher level player base. They also need to make the funnel as big as possible with single player and large amount of roster and all this stuff. We start to see that, like, how many games do this? Very few. Very few have the budget to be able to do any of this stuff. And even if they have the budget, they might not fulfill the demand part, you know? There just might not be a spot for this to, like, fulfill a demand in some way. So anyway, you think the FGC is an echo chamber and it's pretty small? Here's the last thing I'll say in terms of, like, the fighting game perspective, which is why I'm glad that people are getting on board with this now, that you do not need good gameplay in fighting games for them to sell. You need good gameplay for them to last. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, God bless the game, was being touted as the next Dragon Ball Fighters. And immediately I can tell you that's not that, dude. I'm sorry. I as much as you would like to think that this is going to be the next coming of Jesus and DBFZ2, I'm just telling you right now, it's not going to be that. But there is a demand for this to exist, which is why it sold as good as it did. That game nearly sold as well as Dragon Ball FighterZ did in general, because the audience for it is huge, dude. It's just massive. However, did it last? No, because it's not that kind of a game, man. It's not the game that is going to be, like, in the hearts and minds of people constantly for 10 plus years after. It's not going to be the game that people think about, like, super fondly because they were able to play with their friends or build communities. It's not that kind of a game. It's meant for you to engage with it and move on, you know? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just differentiating what makes a legendary fighting game, what makes for one that will be in the hearts and minds of people forever and will also fulfill the demand of a casual audience. I have a couple of examples of this as we, like, wrap up this conversation. Guilty Gear Strive found its audience for the first time. Guilty Gear was a series that sold, like, maybe 200,000 units, right? Maybe a bit more here and there, but, like, Guilty Gear Xrd in general, not a massive seller. Guilty Gear Strive comes out and blows it out of the water. Finally, Guilty Gear is, like, accepted, and it grows its audience, and more people are playing it than ever before, and it feels like it is absolutely massive. You know what I mean? And then you start investigating, like, a few of the reasons. Yeah. Was it also because it was a right place, right time kind of game? Oh, for sure. You know, absolutely. Rollback, netcode, right, like, COVID, all that kind of shit. Yeah. However, there was a massive influx in sales for Guilty Gear Xrd after a certain game was announced, because that game was fulfilling a huge demand, and that was Dragon Ball FighterZ. Even the old Guilty Gear Xrd blew that game up, got way more retrospective sales, because people were just so excited for the frothing demand of Dragon Ball FighterZ around 2017, 2018. So that definitely helped when it came to their next big game, which was Guilty Gear Strive. Pretty beneficial. Now a ton of people are willing to invest in their next game because of the astronomical amount of success that Dragon Ball FighterZ, like, fostered leading forward. So here's the reality of the situation. Guilty Gear Strive, to the fighting game fan, seemed like it was the biggest thing ever. It was like, my God, dude. Could you even imagine like an anime fighter blowing up like this? This is insane. Everybody on Twitch is streaming it. Everybody and their mother is doing Totsugekis. This is insane. And then we go like about a year and a half to 2 years after the game's out. And we don't hear a ton on sales. And then we find out the game has sold about like 1 million copies. And it's like, goddamn, for Guilty Gear, that's insane. Absolute insanity for a fighting game like Guilty Gear to sell 1 million copies. And as a person that was trying to propagate these games and Arc System Works and their success a while ago to get people interested in this stuff, that was a big number to me. However, is that really a big number? Comparatively speaking, the fighting game community made it seem like this game sold 5 million copies, like, which would be pretty crazy. But still, in the grand scale of things, that game felt astronomical. It's nowhere close to what Tekken's or Street Fighters or even Marvel vs. Capcom's. I have to remind people, dude, Guilty Gear Strive took longer to sell 1 million copies than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So once again, we're looking at this stuff from the perspective of a bubble, at this perspective of a fighting game bubble where this blew up, you know? It just was absolutely insane, and it was absolutely massive. It would go on to sell more. I think 3 million is eventually what it hit when it eventually went on to Game Pass. So it did do good. But it just goes to show that, like, even with Marvel vs. Capcom, a game that had a story mode and a sizable roster, even though that didn't make people happy, still would end up selling okay in the long run as time went on. It's just funny that our perspective is so skewed. It's so different than what is actually the modern success, you know? And yeah, Guilty Gear deserved it, dude, because people got to be introduced to this and how cool this shit is for the first time ever. And they loved it. They found the gameplay to be interesting. They found the game. Guilty Gear got an entirely different community, man. Like, straight up. The people that composed of the Guilty Gear community now pretty much completely overtook what was the old anime Guilty Gear community as a result. So that's cool. That's exactly what Arc System Works was looking forward to, you know? What I'm trying to say is that this is true, dude. Fighting game success is a few hundred people logging in every single day. This is the reality of the situation. If you have 500 active players, 500 to 1,000 active players in your fighting game on a daily, that's insanely good. Your game is thriving, man. And just for comparison, even if you are searching from a global level and you have good net play, you will most likely, in whatever rank you're in, be finding people like 5 to 10 different players as you rank up. Like, that's really good. And when you have games that eclipse that, this is another like crazy reminder of the situation. Tekken 8, a game that historically is not doing as good as Tekken 7. Guess what? On average, has similar daily player counts from what we can tell from Steam. Similar daily player counts as Tekken 7 does. So it's not like people just stopped playing it. In fact, just as many people are engaging and buying content and doing things with that game, even if it's in its most dour spot right now, than even when the game or the franchise was at its most popular. So that's almost an unfair comparison because Tekken 7 was huge. It blew up. It fulfilled the demand of perfect game, perfect time, perfect place, you know? Anyway, what are the success numbers to like for MK? I mean, dude, you can get a game like MK1 that'll sell 6 to 7 million copies just based on the previous games. And even though that game did not fulfill the demand, it actually left a void. It still will sell ridiculously well. And those games will sell 10 million plus units almost every single time. So anyway, this conversation is really boiling down to what accessibility actually is. And I don't think accessibility is gameplay. I need to bring up an old conversation of mine. Max Dude fighting game Accessibility. Can I find the video? There we go. Games. I looked this up before the stream. So let me see if I can find the part of conversation. This is a big topic that was happening around MVCI when things in MVCI were getting easier, right? And this was talking about accessibility and that just making the game easier to play is going to bring in a bigger audience, which at the time I also disagreed with. I did not think that just making the fighting games easier to play is going to bring in people, like a huge amount of people. I don't think that's how this stuff works, dude. So let's just watch this part of the video and see if I can recap this and if it follows that line of thought. Press for a whole bunch of flashy stuff. So, with all of that being said, my final thoughts on this entire situation of accessibility in fighting games doesn't ultimately come down to just the game's mechanics. The ultimate goal of simple combo systems, of automatic combos, or taking down mechanics to make them ultimately easier to do is to get new players to be invested into the game. And I do not agree with that statement at all. Sure, the players that are already going to buy the game are going to have an easier time executing combos if they're not great at fighting games, but introducing new players and telling them that there's auto combos now, Marvel vs. Capcom or whatever game is going to be easier to play than ever before, I don't think that's going to sell anyone on a game. You know what does sell people on games? A whole bunch of content. Fun and exciting characters, good word of mouth that comes as a result of that content, and good graphics are also fairly important to bring new people in. Accessibility, or making fighting games more accessible, the ultimate goal of this stuff is sales, to bring people in to buy more copies of the game. And really, like I said, as long as your game has captivating, creative, interesting, and rewarding content, then you will absolutely get that. That doesn't just come in terms of single player, it comes in terms of online and kind of everything else about the title. Pretty much just make an awesome game out of it. And there you go. And that's it. And why is it hard for fighting games to be good products? Because if every fighting game can just be an awesome game, then every one of them would be successful. The issue is, that's not easy. There's a reason why some fighting games are all-timers and others are not. Third Strike, just for comparison, Third Strike is a bad product. Like, it's an old arcade game. It barely has any, like, content in it. But that game over time becomes, like, successful because of gameplay reasons and its visual aesthetic. However, I think the one thing that has carried over is that visuals, you can't just sell fighting games on visuals alone anymore. Like, you need to have more stuff, like, straight up. So I think back in the day, fighting games could, like Virtua Fighter 4 and Soul Calibur, could sell on their visuals alone. But nowadays, it's seemingly not as much of a hook because graphics aren't nearly as important in the industry as they historically have been in the past. Especially for, like, younger generations. They don't give a shit about graphics, dude. They just want games to be fun. They just want games to do, like, interesting and cool stuff. Smash Brothers has continued to sell and be an insane seller, and they've never been the most ridiculously visually appealing games. So anyway, I think the conversation is, like, a bit broader than just fighting games are bad products. I think it's the realization that there's a reason why not every single fighting game is an all-timer. And there's also a specific part of me that just wants fighting game all-timers to happen. And that's where I'm personally at, where it's like, I can always come back to this shit, right? I like playing this so much that I want to come back and play this whenever I possibly can. I can always make a video on it. I can always sit down with my friends and play it. That's my personal goal, right? The broader goal is to get you to find that game for you, right? To find that game for you that can always come back to and you can always enjoy and always could be really fun. So yeah. It's not an easy answer to the situation, but hopefully in this conversation you realize there's a lot of nuance to this. And if we had the answers for every fighting game to be successful, then my dude, they would all do it. The problem is that's exceedingly hard. Chat, No, I don't think I'll talk about that. I'll wait till it goes sometime. I was going to talk about 2XKO stuff. Yeah, I'll talk about it later. Astrobot? No, not Astrobot. KYH, thank you. Oh, man. On the topic at hand, dude, flashy supers count as good graphics, good content, or both? Both. Dude, flashy supers and characters doing cool things is an accessibility thing. I think straight up. Do I have an issue with auto combos? Hell no. I think if you're face rolling the controller, cool shit should happen. But should it be good? No. Hell no. But it should be cool. Like, things should happen when you press buttons, my dude. So that's been that way since like the 90s, man. Like, there's the ultimate fighting game accessibility thing that happened to me personally. And the reason I got into the Versus series more than the Street Fighter series back in like the SF2 days was because when I played X-Men versus Street Fighter, I did one fireball motion with multiple buttons and I got super instead of the double motions, right? And the double motions could be super difficult depending on like your hand, depending on that stuff. Street Fighter 6 is hated for it by pros mostly. Well, Street Fighter 6's high level currently has a problem. And it's that people have been looking at it for too long. I think we can identify the issue with Street Fighter 6, dude. People have been seeing the same shit happen for too long, which is why the shakeup is needed. But Capcom's worried about shaking up the game because that game is doing so well at the low to mid level. And at that low to mid level, my dude, it's like, whoa. Okay, so do we like they're probably trying to be very careful with how they want to adjust that game. Because they're in a very unique situation, you know? So like Super Street Fighter 6, pretty much, yeah. It's still fun, but like, you can see why, right? How do you fix something that people like without already messing it up? It's true. Like I don't have answers for this stuff. This is the hard thing to do. To be real, chat, I don't think they need to worry about that shit. I really don't. I don't think the gameplay formula is the thing. Like, I'm just speaking for Capcom's perspective. Bro, you can change the high level. People will not notice. I need to go by my own advice and what we have witnessed happen through a variety of games. If you changed a whole bunch of gameplay shit and then put Wolverine in the game or some shit and put like Scorpion, I don't know. Like, let's just say some wild ass guest characters or some crazy, you bring back Makoto. Characters that are beloved and shit. People won't give a fuck. It will sell ridiculously well. And then you change the high level of the game and like these things change, throw loops aren't as good. That does not change where the majority of people are sitting, which is below master. It has no impact on that shit, dude. People won't even note, like they'll notice some differences, but like to the degree of which those players are playing the game, does it have that much of a dramatic change? No. Like, it'll be affecting the high level of the game if you have like another option or two that you can do on Wake Up, if the Oki is at the exact same situation over and over again. So I think Capcom, I think the one thing that they did, which was really smart, which was the modern mode. Modern mode allowed people to bridge the gap and to see cool shit happen, right? That was an accessibility thing. They got to see cool stuff. Was it the best? Was it the best way to play the game? No, I think it's handled extremely well. So they can still have that, you know? Like, you can still do this stuff. Add air parries. Anyway, you don't need to be worrying about that. Like, I think there is a degree where you have to consider that, like, the long-time players, the people that are going to be sticking with this for a long time, might be losing interest a little bit. Yeah, I don't think they should be ashamed in making those changes, much less should they be worried. I really don't. I think the pricing model for fighting games hurts them too. The idea of paying an extra $5 for 20 characters just one isn't consumer friendly. You know what? You're right until you like it. You're completely right, dude. Until you think of your favorite character and you're like, oh shit. Like, let's just say, yeah, spending a season pass worth of bucks on something, I stand by this, dude. Spending a season pass of bucks on something is not ideal, and it is expensive. I made a video about this before, how expensive Tekken is, how expensive Bandai Namco DLC is. Until they do something you want, and all of a sudden, oh shit, oh god, yeah, let's go, I'll buy that. Because you're fulfilling a demand, right? People are willing to spend money if a demand is being fulfilled. If there is like a gimmick or something that is like, damn, and characters are gimmicks, right? That's the whole point. They're sales gimmicks. They are marketing plans after the game is out to get people back in. And yes, like that is the point. The point is that you have fulfilled the demand, people will spend the money. How do we know this is true? Dude, what is every person that plays Street Fighter been complaining about since year one? We can't buy anything. I want to buy costumes. Every single, even extremely negative Twitter is complaining that I want to be able to buy costumes. I want to love this shit. There's a demand, you know what I mean? And I get it. Not everyone's going to fall in that into that category. Not everyone is going to want to spend money, but a very large amount of people do. And I don't think Capcom wants to introduce like $100 costumes or some crazy shit like that. But they made the costumes and they were too expensive. I think what they were doing with their pricing analysis was weird. And the amount of money that it was taking to buy them was weird. But I think there is a little bit of trade-off there. Those costumes aren't shitty, right? People are now asking Capcom, hey, can you lower the quality of costumes so that you can release them like quicker? We're not talking about $15 turtle costumes. We're not talking about the freak costumes, which are generally like just avatar costume items. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about main cast costumes. People are asking, lower the quality so we can get more. And straight up, Capcom just doesn't do that shit. Like, not after Street Fighter V. If they have their own budgets and shit like that, they're like, hey, we're just going to make ridiculously high quality costumes all over the place. So, yeah, I don't know. Wonder how much money the Cloud DLC made Smash 4. Heck, even the Sephiroth DLC made for Smash Ultimate. Those characters must have Nintendo Square a ton of money. Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that Noctis, just by historical accounts of me talking to the developers over the years, did insane for Tekken 7. And I guess that kind of makes sense because, like, Tekken 7 was... Final Fantasy 15 was also very high selling. Sold very well. Tekken 7 was doing shit that was, like, crazy. Like, people, no one had ever seen this before. There was a demand for guest characters in fighting games. And Tekken was willing to fulfill that demand, you know? Excuse me. Anyway. Minecraft Steve money. They were on some Soul Calibur type shit. Right. And even you start to realize that even if you just throw in guest characters, that isn't enough. Like, they have to be characters that fulfill a demand. If you just have a guest character of some kind, does that make sense and will it make people excited? Soul Calibur 6 learned this, where not every single one will. And then you get, or City of the Wolves especially. Yeah, good call. Jerry of the River, Geralt, was added at the beginning of Soul Calibur 6, and it didn't really do much. Maybe it expanded the sales a little bit, but nowhere close to what it did historically with, like, Star Wars, and Ezio did okay as well. And also the previous ones. What's up, Nico? So, yeah. There's also, like, in what ways is this exciting? The reminder that, like, if everyone knew the answer to these questions, chat, then all fighting games would be successful. But you literally need to give people something that they have no idea that they want. Which is what makes video games hard, right? Which is what makes it hard to sell this shit. You have to fulfill a demand that almost doesn't exist yet. And then you have created a giant demand, you know what I mean? as an example, I think there was a ton of really positive word for Tokon when it came out. And then as people played it, like hardcore fighting game fans played it, they were like, oh, this really isn't doing it for us. Like gameplay wise, this is not it. Do you actually think that like the gameplay grievances of people like me and most fighting game players is going to have an impact on the sales of that game? It's not. That game's going to sell well, regardless. It's going to do well. I think the fact that they're listening and things are changing means that they are caring about all the audience, which is good. They're not only trying to go for like the Sparking Zero audience. It's like, oh, we just want to get the Sparking Zero aspect of it. Influencers are called that for a reason. My dude. No matter how many influencers were telling you that something is great, and it obviously isn't great, no matter how many influencer voices you hear, does that change the way you feel? Like straight up, if something looks not good and people are hyping it up as being good, do you think that's going to have an impact? I genuinely don't think so. I think people are overall smarter than that. For some people, yes, some will, but the majority of them will not. I have seen a variety of fighting games and a variety of games come out that are just packed to the brim of sponsorship money all over the place. Did it change the opinions of people? No. It was obvious what the game was, and people just saw it being played and were like, that's not for me. It did not matter. However, if people that are influencers are also being sponsored by a game that looks pretty good, is fulfilling a demand, looks like it could be fun, and then people are also having visible fun with it while playing it on stream, yeah, it's almost like the actual word of mouth has an impact just in general. Labubu's beg to differ. We're talking about a digital product and not something that can be like resold, you know? Isn't Labubu's trying to be a Beanie Baby or some shit where they're trying to have like resale value? They're like Pokemon cards, man. People aren't out there buying Pokemon cards nowadays because they enjoy playing Pokemon, my dude. They're physical collectibles that people are wanting to put their kids through college with. I went through this when I was a kid, and it was comic books, man. It was the 90s explosion of comic books. People are just looking for an opportunity to make a lot of money. They're investments. Fighting games are not investments, bro. Like, they're not. They're digital products, man. Word of mouth is also marketing. Word of mouth is the best marketing. Jesus, dude. You want to know why word of mouth is such crazy marketing? Dude, the fucking Predator movie, which several people were trying to promote it as being like not good, and that Predator movie came out, Badlands, right? And it made a shit ton of money in theaters. Best money-making Predator movie ever. And then it just came out on Hulu again. And it's like one of the most watched movies on Hulu in like a few days. It even broke like Prey. And people fucking love it. And it's like, wow, it's almost like the good word of mouth, even though they didn't have a ton of marketing money behind it, was good. It was almost like the movie was good. People were saying good things about it. And now it's actually good because, yeah, it's actually pretty good. What movie? Predator Badlands, right? Everyone was trying to propagate it as being like the Predator movie for babies when it was just a good movie. And it was like, shit, dude, this is crazy. Yeah, and then there's also Transformers 1. You know what? But I'll argue Transformers 1, it doesn't look good. Straight up, dude. I don't understand the why they made that Transformers movie look the way that it did. I don't get it. And apparently it broke even. Dude, the fact that movie broke even was crazy. Like, I loved Transformers 1. I thought it was great, but like the visual design of the film looked so flat. It evoked like no emotion out of me. I was like, the animation's great. The character designs are good, but like the visual style of the movie does not. I remember seeing a trailer for it and not even listening to the trailer. I was like, oh, I don't want to. No, I don't want to see that. And then a bunch of people started telling me, hey, it's actually amazing. It's like the best. It's like a legit follow up to the old 86 movie. I was like, really? Okay, I'll go check it out then. So me watching a trailer just in general did not sell me on the visual. And even as I watched the movie, I was like, I'm not really sold on like the visual aesthetic of this world very much. I don't think it looks great, but the storytelling is fucking amazing. The animation's amazing. But like the visual aesthetic of the movie, I don't think it looked like, we're talking about the CGI movie, chat. Yeah, the latest one, the Transformers 1. So it was like, yeah. You know what I mean? You wasn't sold on Megatron's character arc? Yeah, but it was interesting at least, you know? Anyway. It's interesting to see why things hit or not, because I like learning from it, you know? I like being able to better identify, like, at least for me personally, the most important thing for me with any fucking game is that I'm going to be able to play it and enjoy it. I'm going to be able to sit down and play this for 10 years after this, dude. And we're going to find a game that we like. We're going to find a game that, like, I want to come back to and play more. And does every fighting game do that? No. No. I don't know if I'm going to be for example, I don't know if this game is going to be the one for me, but I know that this game has enough about its like literal gameplay spirit, like what the game is evoking, what it's doing, that is really going to grab people. This will be a forever fighting game for some people, you know? And some games just don't have it, bro. They just don't. What do you want in the next Mortal Kombat game due to MK1 being mid? I want it to be fast. For Christ's sake. I want it to be fast. If there's one gripe I had with MK1, it isn't the controls, it isn't the cameos, it isn't the roster, it's none of that shit. Game is slow as shit, dude. Anyway. Even MK9's fast, yeah. MK9 is faster with some strings than even MKX. It's just that MKX has a run, so people look at that game as being faster. But my dude, you can move quicker in MK9. Most characters can literally move faster than the run in MKX. MK9 is so fucking fast. You can't dash cancel in MKX. You can only run cancel. I got the RE9 flu, yeah. Yeah, we might in the near future. We were going to fire up, I want to fire up the last of the Monster Hunter update tonight. The final Monster Hunter update is happening. But in the very near future, chat, if I'm feeling better, I got to start up, we're running out of time, dude. I have to start up the RE4 remake randomizer playthrough. Like, it's time. The last week has just been like rough for me to get started. Did we finish Neo? We didn't. I unfortunately really like it, and I'll just have to put it by the wayside for now. But I put 20 hours into Neo, dude. No more RE6. I think we're running out of time, dude. I think we're just running out of time. What happened to RE6? I don't have any more time. Like, the game comes out in a week, bro. Comes out in literally a week. I don't know how long RE4 remake is either going to take us. And if we sit through another stream or two of Resident Evil 6, then we're just not going to be able to beat RE4 remake. Like, RE4 remake's kind of long. And it's a randomizer of the remake, so it's going to take even longer. So I have to play the RE8 DLC. I played the RE8 DLC when it came out. RE4 randomizer today? No, I want to be in better health if we're going to start up the RE4 remake randomizer. You know? I could get hard stuck due to a rando. Yeah, I do. That happened to me. That could happen, you know? That could happen. Wait, so no RE4 remake randomizer? No, that's the, I said I said the opposite. That no RE6 because I want to have time for the RE4 remake randomizer. And I also want to play the latest Leon game leading into the big Leon game, bro. You know? Oh, Jesus, dude. I'm gonna get nothing but blue herbs until the island. Jesus. Wait a minute. Did they? It's been so long since I played it. Did they take away the island in RE4 remake? Did they? No. The island's still there. Yeah. Dude, it's been a long time. It's legit been a long time. Feeling okay? I'm at like a 6 out of 10. I don't remember like the second half of that game as well. Remember like the first half pretty well. Is Code Veronica worth playing? Yeah. It's worth playing. Joy, I've been meaning to ask you. If you can shoot me a link to the capture device you were using, the mini one. Does it do 4K 60? The more portable one? The one I got's acting weird and has audio problems and stuff like that. And it's older. It's from like 2018. If you can hit me up with a link on Twitter, that'd be great. Thank you. Oh, also, chat, I have a weird request. I've been meaning to ask a large community of people, either on Twitch or YouTube, this, and you can respond to me on Twitter if you could possibly provide any help for this. So I need assistance of a mechanic to go check out a car for me. And I don't know if these things exist in certain regions where you can like hire someone where I'm like way too far from a vehicle to check it out, like a used vehicle. Is there services provided where people can like go check out a used vehicle to see if it actually isn't like a dud, right? To see if it isn't a lemon or some shit. And I can like hire them and then they give me a sort of like, not an appraiser, but sort of like a proposition like, hey, so I drove it for you. Here's what's up. Here's the issues. Here's what it is, you know, in most states. I pretty much need one for, was it Baton Rouge? Let me check. I'm trying to find somebody in, fuck, hold on. Yeah, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And it's far, you know. Usually many garages have inspection checks. Right. I'm just like, a Carfax is one thing. A clean report is one thing. And granted, the vehicle has a clean report, which is great. All I'm saying is that without me giving the specifics of the situation, I'm looking if anyone's ever done this before and the process to go about. Who should I be looking up? Should I be contacting someone close to the dealer? Like any of that kind of stuff? Because I've never done this before. I had never had to buy a used car that far away. It's a Supra, isn't it? It is not a Supra. No. Yeah, I just want a third party to check it out. I just want someone to go drive the vehicle. Like, there's a chance the gearbox could be shot or some shit, you know? And we have to, like, fix that. So, I don't know if there's anybody. I'm looking for someone in Baton Rouge, Louisiana to check this out. And I've already contacted the dealer. It's like they have the vehicle. They've given me pictures. They've been kind enough to send me all this stuff. And I'm like, cool. But still, I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, I want somebody to be able to like drive it around a block just to see how crazy or good or bad it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, if anybody has information on that, on like the process to do it, or if you went through a process of doing it, there are companies called Drive Away where they have someone look at cars usually and they drive it to you. I don't know if I want that. I would prefer to get it shipped. I would pay for the shipping is what I would say. But I definitely want to check on just somebody that maybe knows what they're doing or has driven a vehicle before, you know? I'm usually a do-it-yourself kind of guy. That's me. That's what I'm saying. I would be too, but I don't have the luxury of being able to travel like 2,000 miles and check this shit out. Send Yo Video Games. Nobody in Yo Video Games knows how to drive a manual, much less a left-handed manual. So, no. And I have to fucking relearn Bitch, I have to relearn with the wrong hand. So it's like, fuck, bro. This is why I want somebody that knows what they're doing to go check this shit out. Are you left-handed? No. But I'm willing to learn. I learned how to drive on manual. So anyway, left-handed, so the steering wheel's on the other side? Yes. The vehicle was not produced in the States. Anyway. I won't talk about what it is until it becomes a reality. But it's a 240, isn't it? No, I already had a 240, man. I had a 240 for 10 years. I don't want another one. No, I've heard left-handed driving is really not that bad. But granted, the other aspect is I got to really learn how to drive stick again. I just haven't like pushed a clutch in so long. It's been a long time. But I actually want to learn. I think it'd be fun. It's a 242. Trust me, chat. I ain't buying a fucking Nissan. I'm not buying a 90s era Nissan. I went through being a Nissan owner, okay? I'm not doing it again. I know. Any of the 300Z owners and everybody that owned a 90s era Nissan, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ, dude. I liked my car, but that shit was a struggle. Supra, no. No. I'll talk about it eventually. I don't have a car yet. I don't have a vehicle yet. I'm just looking. So anyway, yeah, if anybody has information on that in Louisiana, hit me up on Twitter. Anything like that. A DeLorean? No, I'm not going to buy a fucking DeLorean. Dude, if they made like a modern DeLorean that was an electric and it looked like the old DeLorean, I would 100% buy one. 100%. But they tried to like make new DeLoreans and they look like shit. So it's like, ugh. This sucks, bro. This shit sucks. If they did that, if they actually brought back the old model and stuff, yeah, it'd be great. No, I can tell you it's not a Supra. I don't want a Supra. Supras are too try-hard nowadays. Is it JDM? Well, of course. You're watching my RE8 review and I wore the same shirt. This is my OG-ass Final Fantasy VII shirt. Lemon Squad. They'll check out cars for buyers anywhere. Hit me up, Ghost. Hit me up, please. Anyway. Anything else happen over the past couple days that I can talk about? Anything else? Monhun? I definitely want to get started on Monhun. Oh, dude. That shit was crazy. And I immediately called it. There was one spot here. Oh, the Hamaguchi interview. I should go over that. There was one spot of that trailer where I'm like, bro, is that burnout kill cam? Are those like car kill burnout cams? And apparently, yeah. Hold on a second. Who had it? Was it Wario? Hold on, not Genki. Who posted this? Bro, come on. Hold on a sec, chat. Check it out. I think it was Wario64 that posted it. I'm looking. Hold up. Shit. Bro. There it is. So, Star Wars Galactic Racer, being developed by former devs of Need for Speed and Burnout. Holy shit. Immersive solo campaign with branching paths. 12 racer online multiplayer. Scenario mode, unique racing conditions. Vehicles include pod racers, repulsor crafts, land speeders, skim speeders, speeder bikes. No season pass. It's a premium release. We want it complete when it comes out. Straight up has the Burnout kill cams, dude. I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait. That shit has me ridiculously. That might be one of my most anticipated games of the year right now. Wipeout vibes. It's a little wipeouty because of the futureness of it. Because of the futureness of it, but my dude, it is definitely a bit closer to like a Burnout.
Has arrived. Welcome to the Galactic League. Since you're here, why not take part in a friendly exhibition race?
12-player online multiplayer. Jesus, dude.
Impeding! If they weren't holding me back right now, I'd have you frozen in carbonite!
My dude, this shit could be the return of arcade racers. It legit could. It could be the return of arcade racers, my dude. Like, I cannot I cannot tell you how excited I am. Jesus, man. There's an interview. Is there an interview on IGN? Is it a written interview or a video? Because I won't be able to read it. I won't be able to read it aloud right now too much. A Daytona car to be modded in. I'm very excited for that shit. Did arcade racers die because of the rights and names and likenesses of the cars or what? No, sim racers just took over as time went on. That's it. They just were... that was it. They just sort of took over. Are you excited for Screamer? I'll wait till it comes out. Yeah. I do need to see how it is by the time it comes out. Sounds very cool. The pendulum swings back, exactly. We've been inundated for the longest period of time with sim racers, and eventually the pendulum will swing back. Yeah, Tokyo Extreme Racer it's a bit closer to sim, but it's got some arcadeness to it, you know. That game did well. The recent TGE or TGR. Anyway, cool. Sec chat. So I'm gonna do one interview. I have to check this out. I have to go blow my nose soon. Hold up. A lot of real cars just look like burnout cars. That's what I say. That's what I said. So where is this big ass interview? Hold up. It's on Automaton. Okay, it's a little long. Interview is a little long. Let's see. What is your first time chatter asks? What is your honest opinion on Twitch simps? So I've been talking about this for like 10 years. And we've talked about it time and time again. I understand you're new, but I think simping on Twitch is like one of the most important and kind of newsworthy subjects that you can discuss. And I get it, you're new here, but since I've been doing this for 10 years, I do really love the opportunity of investigating it again and telling people why it exists and what we can do to move forward, especially on this platform, right? Especially on this platform, because this means a lot to me. As much as it's affected me, and it's just affected me a lot, okay? So, yeah, for those that are out there and then they've been wondering how I feel, then yeah, I think what I've said in the past will really be poignant enough for you to come to logical conclusions, you know? So, I hope that makes you happy. I'm gonna blow my nose now. You should feel validated from that. You should. Someone has to take a stand, you know? Someone has to be out here and to be truly passionate about these things, to share their real feelings. And I'm willing to, you know? I'm 100% willing to. I'm out here and I'm willing. Ors VT, thank you. Doppelganger, appreciate it. Heath, thanks for grabbing a Sisme shirt. What did bro ask? Again, we've talked about it so much for 10 years that it's difficult for me to get into the conversation again because it requires a lot of bravery for someone in my position to talk about it. I don't like to hype myself up too much, but it requires a lot of bravery. So just give me a little bit, just donate and subscribe. Like donate large amounts of money and subscribe on multiple accounts to get the full understanding. That's all you really have to do. Let's just get like 20,000 subs, and then we can really start getting into this. That's all I got to tell. That money will help. I couldn't hold a straight face. I tried. Money will help. Oh man, clip will be taken out of context. That's my streamer. Money would help. Let me check out this interview. So, this popped up over the last couple days, and I can't talk about it too much because my voice is like giving out. I do have to play a video game at some point tonight. Automaton has a wonderful interview directly with Hamaguchi, going over the fact that the game will not compromise on graphics whatsoever, despite a multi-platform shift. Hamaguchi addresses these concerns, and this has been making the rounds a little bit, but I think the confidence in a few things, like its ability to be a launch multi-platform game, sort of gets alleviated quite a bit. I want to not read from this article directly and take a little snippets out of this. So let's go down a little bit. I encourage you guys to check out this article. I'll post it over here and I'll post it over there if you guys want to read the full thing. Damn, that is a big ass link. Jesus Christ, that link doesn't even fit. There we go. That's a big ass link. There we go. So let's go down here a little bit. While it does feel reassuring to hear that from you, considering your background as an engineer, I also think it's a given that a developer wouldn't say anything negative about their own work before release. Could that be we're interpreting it as marketing talk? So how would you address it? So yeah, Hamaguchi worked on several Final Fantasies and different projects before this. I know why people might think that. Since I have previously had the chance to explain in detail why there's no need for concern, I do like to take this opportunity to do so. I heard all this talk that has been circulating since the Switch 2 and Xbox versions, and I can help ease even a little of that anxiety, and he'll be very glad. And then he goes into specifics about talking about the game quality and how they're probably approaching this. This might be a bit different. This might be a bit different than what they've done in the past, you know, even with Final Fantasy VII. So when developing a game, there are 4 key points to consider across a platform. The first is CPU, computational side that governs character behavior, executes game logic. Second is GPU, which handles graphics and rendering. The third is RAM, or memory, which determines how much data can be loaded into the game when it's running. So you often hear that the Xbox Series S is difficult to make games for, and that's largely because it has less RAM compared to other platforms. Its memory is insufficient. It can even cause the game to hang, as in freeze or stop responding. And by contrast, the Switch 2 has ample memory, which makes it relatively easy to develop for in that respect. And finally, there's ROM, or storage media such as cartridges and discs. And in the past, we often had to reduce data size to fit within the physical media constraints. And broadly speaking, I believe these 4 elements are key considerations of game development. Some interesting stuff on the Switch version down here from Hamaguchi. I'll break them down by one. Regarding the ROM, cart, and overall game size, the Switch 2 Physical Edition uses a game key card through which data is downloaded. That means we don't need to shrink the data just to fit it on a cartridge. So it's highly unlikely to affect the game size on other platforms. And as for RAM, the Switch 2's RAM doesn't leave for much concern because the Xbox Series S does have its limits, but we're already optimizing for each platform individually based on that limit. So memory constraints on one platform does not impose restrictions on the other. Now for CPU, I feel like there's been a shift over the past 4 or 5 years. Traditionally, 30 FPS was the basic standard for console RPGs. But with the arrival of the PS5 and the Xbox X, we've entered an era where 60 FPS is expected. And talking about how they hit 60 FPS here. Pretty cool. The main concern is that if development assumes hardware of a certain level as the standard, all platforms might be pulled from that level of quality. Like, it's a PS4 game. It's all being developed on PS4, yada, yada, yada. Most games in development, chat, are PS5 games, right? Like, just in general. And I think even FF7 Rebirth probably was initially designed as a PlayStation, probably for the most part of its development, was a PlayStation 5 game. That might have changed at some point through its development to allow for I think straight up, this is a new foundation of theirs moving forward, because my dude, if this game started as a PC game, then we would have gotten like moving grass and shit, right? Like actual reactive foliage, which was available in early trailers, but they had to pull back on, probably because of PlayStation hardware. So what I think moving forward is that on a multi-platform perspective, which is what modern Square Enix is doing, from a multi-platform perspective, this is the way they should be moving forward, which makes sense. And talking here, since PC gaming has gradually expanded, overseas growth has been even more rapid. The market has broadened tremendously across both console and PC. The Remake series has sold very well on platforms like Steam and Epic Games, so we develop assets with the broad PC market in mind. In fact, our 3D assets are created at the highest quality level based on the PC foundation. I don't know if it was always this way, but like, I think mostly moving forward, yeah, like the third game especially, and future big Squaresoft games are going to be like this. It's what Capcom does. With FF7 Rebirth launch, there was this talk about how the PC version looked better than the PS5 version, and our philosophy will not change for the third installment. As our fundamental principle, we do not design assets to meet the lowest baseline. Instead, we create them for high-end environments first. When we apply what we call reduction, adjusting assets and tuning them appropriately for each platform, that means we avoid negatively impacting high-spec platforms. This isn't unique to us either. I believe it's become fairly common practice among developers in recent years. Yeah, specifically Capcom. Capcom, ever since RE Engine started becoming a thing, and most RE Engine games would launch day and date on PC in like the late 2010s. Yeah, Capcom is now at the spot they're at because of it, dude. And one of the last games that did not launch day and date was pretty much like Monster Hunter World. And ever since then, dude, you know, Capcom's just reaped the rewards as a Japanese multi-platform company ever since. Do you think them working on a multi-plat release is a reason why they haven't shown anything yet? Great question, and yes, I do. The discussion of all this multi-platform shit that's going on right now, and how much they've been asked about it, and how much they've been willing to talk about it. I've said time and time again that the game was likely going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive when it launched, and now I'm not so confident in that. I think shit has changed. And I would not be surprised if the game debuts on every single platform at launch for part 3, which would be crazy if it is Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Switch. That would be legit crazy. The next other likelihood, and I'm leaning in that's going to happen now. The other likelihood is that it's PlayStation at the start, and it's a very short exclusivity. Like really short. Didn't they confirm it at the beginning? It is, they're discussing it, but it's not like, until the game is actually announced, it's not going to be directly confirmed. But they have been talking about how important it is as their company moving forward. My question is that like the existence of the remake project in general, the trilogy, is because of Sony, right? Sony was the ones to initially start this. However, like the people that were running Sony and the people that were running Square are completely different people now, right? They don't even work there anymore. So the agreements and negotiations and changes to the contracts, like that might have affected things, you know? It was pretty clear that PlayStation stepped in on the launch of FF7 Remake to help out with marketing, because that game was marketed like crazy, and it was PlayStation branded marketing all over the place. In Rebirth, not so much. It wasn't nearly as big of like a PlayStation game, even though it was exclusively on PlayStation, man. So I don't know. Didn't they pay for development? We don't know like the specifics of it, but they cut them a check, right? They cut them a pretty sizable check back long time ago for the exclusivity. And we don't know the exact specifics, but yeah. You saw a lot of ads for Rebirth? I saw some, but I was also there for Remake. And holy shit, man, it was nowhere close. You saw ads on the PlayStation Store because you have to. But I mean, like, there was like barely commercials, you know? There was like not even, there was ads and the normal usual stuff you get for everything. Rebirth was not marketed that much. It was pretty much marketed on word of mouth alone. It was very weird, and I think that is mostly because Sony was involved with the marketing of Part 1. Anyway.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
High-spec platforms. So, PC serves as your lead platform, and even the PS5 Pro is treated as something to optimize for, like with other platforms. He says that's correct. By the way, when adapting the game for each platform, simply lowering the quality across the board isn't the necessary solution because this can compromise the intended visual expression. That's why we make sure to review everything by eye and fine-tune that for each port as it matches the original version. Yeah, I think the reaction to even the Switch 2 version of Rebirth, which is obviously lower quality assets, but like the visual aesthetic of the game, like if you step back and you just didn't investigate it as closely, you know, you didn't Digital Foundry that bitch, they look pretty similar, man. Even FF7 Remake looks pretty goddamn similar to the initial experience you got on PlayStation 4. So it isn't just like, okay, just lower the graphical quality on everything. No, it's like, it's a fine-tooth comb, you know, here and there. It means that you got a guy that was an engineer at one point, who's now a director. So I think they know where to put their assets. So in the long run, even players on high-end platforms benefit from ports. Since I've already asked one tough question, let me add another. Some worry that going multi-platform means the development team isn't able to devote itself to the trilogy's finale. How would you address that concern? So that's a good point. If there's going to be a whole bunch of folks that are working on a multi-platform release, that means that the amount of personnel that are going to have to figure out and develop and make part 3 release is going to be less, right? He says, we have a dedicated unit within the team that handles porting, and they operate separately from the team that's actually developing the third game. The porting unit is deeply committed and has been tuning these versions with meticulous care, and I trust them and oversee their work from a distance. That allows me to focus on a third game. Development of the third installment is progressing very smoothly, and we're almost exactly on schedule with the milestones that we set from the beginning of the project. I'm wondering if he means the beginning of the project like remake or probably part 3. He's probably talking about part 3. The game is already in a playable state. We've known this from before. And right now, we're in the final push phase, refining and building up the experience. We're at a stage where the quality improves day by day. And each time we play it, the scenery feels different. So it's genuinely exciting. Scenery? Probably like the experience feels different. I think that's what that different translation. I think it won't be too long before we're able to share some kind of update with everybody. Wow. Granted, I would not take this with a grain of salt, chat, because even back in September, I think it was last year, like it was a long time ago, they were saying stuff like this. They were like, not too long from now, we'll be sharing information about the next game. Like, nah. 2027 is the year. It's the advertising this year. Yeah, no, I think so too. I think when they're talking about like, there's so much of the FF7, this is like the year of FF7 remake, you know? This is like the year of the remake trilogy. I think what they mean is that like part 1 and then Rebirth and then eventually the next game. I think we also might have gotten spoiled a little bit because all of us were thinking it could have been one thing based on the way it had been before with Sony exclusivity. And there could be a little bit of that for maybe a future state of play. But, my dude, they were like, hey, here is the Switch release. And like barely even a couple weeks later, like right after the launch of the Switch version, they're like, hey, here's part 2 on the same system. Holy shit. And other systems, right? Wow, that just came out. And it comes out in June? That's crazy. And then, yeah, Summer Games Fest lines up right around June. Right around that time frame. And if it is going to be multi-platform, I do think the scale of a part 3 reveal and it being an actual multi-platform game at an event that is not specifically for one platform, like a Nintendo Direct, like a State of Play, if you do it at a Summer Games Fest, bro, then launching this time frame on Xbox, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2, then that is like a substantial announcement. That feels like a pretty goddamn big deal right after people are already getting to play Rebirth and there's reviews out and, you know, everyone's sort of experienced it. Yeah. I think you don't have a teaser trailer anymore. People are just waiting, and then you just slam them with a massive, giant trailer, like a big trailer that shows a lot of different parts of the game. And then the speculation can begin. I legit think that's a possibility now. I do. And considering the fact that Jeff and Square Enix have had several massive reveals at Summer Games Fest and the Game Awards going all the way back to like 2020, 2021. Yeah, it starts to make sense, you know? I'm not sitting here hoping that it happens sooner or later. We know it's there. Like, I think it's this thing we can just feel. It's like, you know, it just exists in this Ethereum. So at this point, I'm not like desperate for them to reveal it. I think the time will be right, you know? I think by the time we get there, the time will be right. feel like the dude in Advent Children where he's talking about Sephiroth, where he's like, I can just feel him. Like, I've never even met him. I don't even know who he is. I can just feel him. He's just always there. That's where we're kind of at with part 3. So, any new information that comes up, we'll be talking about it. That's for sure. But the fact that the game is getting multi-platform release and they are confident enough to be doing entire big interviews on Automaton regarding the release of the game on a multi-platform level is a big deal, man. It's kind of a big deal. They're doing interviews but won't show the game. The Gooch gets around. Damn. We cannot call Hamaguchi the Gooch. Chat. We're going to have to chill. We cannot be out here calling Hamaguchi-san the Gooch. That's crazy. Jesus, bro. I mean, it's kind of a goated ass name, but you know. Christopher Judge at Comic-Con said their project will be revealed this summer. It's on Twitter. Really? That's probably the state of play, you know? It's probably right around the state of play. The May state of play. Sakaguchi is the Gooch already. You're right. You're right. You're right. Chocobo, thanks for the 777s. Watching the Reaper playthrough. In the Junon chapter, Cloud says something along the lines of, we need a crew to pilot the Highwind. What if in the third game our crew is the 7th infantry we searched for in Junon? Yeah, that was the same conclusion we came to at the end of the playthrough. That crew of people will defect from Shinra and they'll help you pilot the ship. There's a lot of like setup, you know? There was a lot of setup and payoff to a few things in part 1 to part 2, but my dude, there's so much setup in part 2 for part 3, and they just don't pay off yet, you know. Anyway, good article, worth talking about. What makes Sephiroth a compelling and timeless villain? Well, he's much different now. Before he was Jaws, and now we don't know. Now we don't know what his intentions are. We still don't, because it's different now. He's mysterious. He's weird. They promote the same thing in the second game's teaser. They ask the question, what is Sephiroth's endgame? Still don't know. It's funny that part 2, the very first trailer for part 2 says what is Sephiroth's endgame, and we actually don't know. We get essentially set up several things as far as what it is. So, are we going to completely kill that bitch by the end of 3? Yeah, I think so. I think his true death is what's happening. I think still a white-haired twink. Dude, I don't think you could be 7 feet tall and be considered a twink. I think that breaks the barrier, right? I don't think you can be 7 feet tall and be called a twink. Cloud maybe fits that a bit more, but Sephiroth's fucking huge. That's called a twunk. A twunk. Am I interested in Crimson Desert at all? Somebody put the Crimson Desert leak into the YouTube chat. I talked about it quite a bit. I'll play it when it comes out, but I'm not that excited. Here, I'll copy this link. Hold on a second for you. Here's my addressing of the Crimson Desert talk, because I have played it. That's where I'm feeling currently. I'm curious when it comes out, if things have changed. That's where I'm at. Curious if stuff goes through any differences. Did the Drop Frames interview stuff have them address progression and like gameplay controls? Did they talk about any feedback? Because everybody that I knew that played it said the same shit. They did? Good. Okay. That leaves me hopeful. I'm not excited because I'm just gonna wait. I'll play it when it comes out, I'll buy it. But we'll see, you know?
Welcome back to the stage of history.
Oh, Saros is a must play for me, yeah. No, I really want to play it. Why is it getting hyped? Because it's a game that has like everything. Crimson Desert is like an everything game, you know? You can do literally anything in it. It looks like you can do more in Crimson Desert than you can do in like Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom. And you can also do Tears of the Kingdom type shit in it too. So, you know, there's a problem with a game where you do everything. Usually usually the majority of games you play have a main thing that it's really good at. And then there's other things that is like the follow-ups, right? But they really are this one thing. Like, for example, RPGs, most like RPGs, the combat is actually the main thing that like a lot of them do, because that's how you're mostly playing the game, right? Like when you are playing the game and not just engaging story, some of them are just good at the story, don't get me wrong, but like that's what you do. That's how you interact with the game for the most part, unless there's a lot of like dialogue options and all that kind of shit, which is where some people play. Like The Witcher exists in that way, you know? Witcher 3 is like that, where it's like all this other stuff is actually the main part of the game and the combat is not the focus. But in a lot of them, the combat is the focus. Like, if the combat's not good, then it's like, ugh, you know, Jesus. The best ones, the best games are the ones that are just good at everything. They're just like, they're good at like 3 things. And if it's an RPG, it's combat, exploration, and story, you know? Anyway, Crimson Desert's combat was not good. It felt limitless. It felt like I can do anything. But it also felt like I was playing the game with the controller upside down. It was very weird. And what the game was having me do did not feel important, which was weird because this was the demo that they set up. This is what they gave me to play. So that's my impression. It was like, this is what you're giving me, you know? So anyway, yeah. I sort of just, that's all I'll say is that it lacked focus. And then a lot of people that understand Black Desert, or the developer that has made Black Desert in the past, are like, yep, sounds like a game from those devs. And I'm like, well, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I experienced. So the people that are familiar with that kind of gameplay are like, oh, yeah, that's exactly how they operate. I'm like, oh, okay. Plays like a single player version of an early 2000s MMO, or a mid 2000s MMO, not early. Damn it, you got me talking about it again. For example, they had me do a canon side quest where you have to help this army reinforce their military blockade or some shit before a big battle starts. So you have to go talk to these guys that are setting up cannons. And then they're like, cannons, cannons, cannons. We're stupid. And your main guy is like, hey, I'm John Crimson. I know all about cannons. Let me help you. So you have to like load the cannons. So you just have to carry these big fucking heavy balls to several places. And then you show them, this is how you do it, you dumb bitch. And then they're like, here's how you aim the cannon. And then you have to go through a process of aiming and shooting and hitting a target. And you're like, okay, I've done this. I told all these people how to do it. And then they're like, great job, Canon Crimson Man. Now go show these 2 other guys how to do it. And my bitch ass is like, what? Yes, go talk to these other guys on the other side and show them how to do the exact same thing. And I'm like, what? So you have to go load up the cannons again and then shoot it from a different angle. Run across the whole fucking map and do it again. Did you play it? Justin Kevin, did you play it? Yeah, and you like do people's jobs for them. Like there was a random side quest in a town where it was like, I'm like really important. Why am I doing the randomest shit? Like, why is the game having me do the weirdest, randomest shit? Like, I feel like I should be fighting things. And for some reason, worse than FF16 side quests? No, I'd say comparable. These aren't even, chat, these weren't side quests. They weren't. Like, this was the main, the developer of the game was telling me where to go and what to do. You had to do it. This was to make the game go to the battle. And the weirdest part was that, like, I barely used the cannons in the battle at all. Instead, you had this, like, massive artillery fire thing that just nuked everything. So I'm like, why would I even use any of the normal combat? Here's the crazy part. My character gets all these insane fucking abilities, right? And anybody that played this demo knows what I'm talking about. You have, like, the most craziest shit you can do. But 18 dickheads start running at you with horses and you're alone. So you start trying to fight them. And the gameplay guy is like, you need to press L1 and then like R2 and up or some crazy thing. And this L1, R2 and up command is pretty much like a hammer of dawn. Like you can target a huge area around you just to blow the fuck up immediately. And you have like a bunch of these and they all recharge. So it wasn't like, oh, I want to go fight these enemies. Like every time I tried that, they were like, no, just do R2, L2 and up. And boom, fucking everybody explodes. Boom, everybody explodes. So every interaction I came to, boom, everybody explodes. Just AoE them. Go over here, boom, boom, boom. Anytime I ran into actual guys, they're like, don't do this. No, you don't want to do this here. They're going to kill you. So I was like, and here's the crazy part. Guess what happened after that? There was a boss fight.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
And then I had to use like mechanics. So what I'm saying is that the demo wasn't good. I had to like learn the mechanics in a boss fight when you normally would like figure out mechanics leading up to the boss. And they're like, here's a boss fight. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And here's the crazy part. The boss fight had wild, unique mechanics that did not make any sense either. Like, you had to like do weird interactions with the area around the boss fight that wasn't exactly shown, that didn't make sense. And then eventually it was like, oh, this is the flag thing. And you had to do it with pillars, where there's an entire process of you lifting flags for some reason, like a 4-point process of lifting a flag. And then in the boss fight, they don't look like flags, but they're pillars. Sounds like Black Desert Online. Everyone says the same shit. Everybody says the same shit. So when you get into the boss fight, you have to like stun the enemy to lift a pillar to do actual big damage instead of interacting with him. Like, I can't just fight him. I'm like, yo, I want to do backflips and shit against this guy. And it's actually, no, you need to go to the pillars. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go to the pillars and now it wants me to do the 4-point flag thing really fast when I had to do it once before. And this guy would waste me, fight has to restart. So what I'm trying to say is that how long was this demo? I was there for like an hour. The most fun part was when I was just like running around and looking at shit. That was the most fun. But when I was having to like do main story, it was like, oh, this is deeply uninteresting, dude. what is going on. So just wait for it to come out. That stuff might have changed. It legit might have changed. But based on what I played, I don't know. I don't know. Everyone says this sounds like BDO. And I'm like, I didn't play that, but okay. I saw my deep in this was the kind of, and again, I told this to the person that was like conducting the demo, and I straight up told them, this is a pretty bad demo. Like, I think this game could be really cool, but what I'm seeing in this demo is not. Like, and what leads me to this stuff is like, and he's like, why do you feel that? So I started like giving him the reasons where it's like, I don't know why I'm doing anything. Like, I don't get it. And I started breaking down, like, I want to use the combat, but no part of the demo allows me to do it. I want to do cool things, but the game only wants to force me to doing this one thing. And he's like, thank you very much for this feedback. We've been saying this for months. That was it. The guy was like, deeply appreciative of this feedback. He's like, I'm going to get this translated. We've been saying this for months. I was like, okay, dude, I'm with you. So, yeah. That was a long time ago. That was like back in June of last year, chat. So that was one of, again, I'm in the same boat that all of you were. Crimson Desert was one of my most anticipated games. And I was like, God damn, look at this shit. I could not believe it. And then I got to Summer Games Fest, and after that demo, I was like, didn't think about the game at all after it. And now it's come back, and everyone's engaging with it and seeing trailers in the same way that I did, where it was like, oh shit, this shit's fucking amazing. It's going to be game of the year, you know? Everyone's hyping it up. I made my video about it. Like, hold on a second. Everyone's making their videos now. Everyone's making their videos right now. But I was there with you 8 months ago. This game looks fake. And I was getting crazy good viewership or anything like that. It's not an MMO. No, Black Desert. And I was looking forward to it. Shit. Look at this. Imagine being this random Reed Devil. Back as an upgrade. Look how excited I am, dude. The next best thing. This is where everyone's at right now. This is the part where everyone's at the moment. From what I'm looking at, the most inspirational thing is how you're engaging enemies, dude. Granted, I'm very impressed. I'm not. Oh damn! It still looks great. Don't get me wrong. Shit looks great. Engine looks amazing. Certainly does. I'm with you, dude. And then I played it, and I was like, no, I'm good. Besides control, how's the combat? I don't know. Because the demo that was given to us never gave us an opportunity to find out. I don't know. Like, it could be cool, but with the time frame that I was given and the demo that was provided, there was never an opportunity for me to make those discoveries or to become familiar enough with what I should be doing. Don't base it off the demo then? Right. So what should I base it on? Hope? Something that doesn't exist? I mean, like, I'm going to base it on what I've played, and it was their choice to give me what we played. And everybody else that played it said the same shit, where it's like, damn, that damn control's weird. But I'm like, yeah, it certainly fucking does, man. So, I mean, I'm not going to make shit up. So we'll see. We'll see. I wish there was a demo. I wish there was an opportunity for the game to come out and people to try it and just to give it a shot to see what it's like. I would like that before I spend $70 on it or something, you know? I would like that. I hope it surprises me when it comes out. I do too, dude. I want to go back and feel the way I did when I was watching this shit. I'm not gonna say things particularly like, this looks real. This still looks like an impossible game, you know? But it's in all the other things, you know? Quest progression, story progression. Even I had an inkling of what this was going to be. Even I had an idea of what the issues were going to be. Or like, you really are incentivized to explore the combat a whole bunch. Does that happen, you know? That's what I meant about, like, you know, can the game support all these systems and shit? Usually when you have a game that literally has everything in it, it means that not one thing is exemplary, right? Yeah, he's biting off too much than you can chew, you know? That's very true. Games just can't be everything, dude. It has to focus on something. Feature creep is one thing, but like, it's just, if something lacks focus, it could be wrong. It might be the first game to do that. No shit. Like, it could be. It's the Cheesecake Factory of games. I mean, they've spent a decade making it, man. Because it looks very cool. Or do we get to a Dragon's Dogma situation where it's like, there's a lot of really cool systems, but I don't really want to use much of them. Oh, he tried to parry? Dude, mobility is quick. That dash is fast, man. Oh, oh shit. Yeah, fight's long. It might look like the game controls like a normal video game. You have to play it. It's weird. This looks like it controls like a normal action game. It does not. Like what? I think somebody had a. Hold on a second. Somebody took a picture of it at a recent playable. Yeah, this image was hovering around. It felt like I was controlling a game with the controller upside down. I'm not making it up. Yep. And people say the exact same shit. Yep, that's a BDO thing. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, people are like, yep, that's the way they make these games. And I'm like, whoa, holy shit, man. Anyway. You're pretty sure FF16 looks even worse? No, because 16's combat's pretty intuitive. Like, it makes sense, you know? Because it's got, like, the cooldowns are there. 16's combat was, like, pretty straightforward. It wasn't that hard to, like, grasp what 16 wanted you to do. Even with air combos and stuff, it was like, FF16 is Devil May Cry light. And here's the thing, even Bayonetta is Devil May Cry light, so it was almost like a Bayonetta light, you know? Very easy to play. This did a lot of weird shit. This is like just one, I'm seeing things in here that I had to do that this is not representative of. Anyway, it was odd. Did you watch the recent combat overview trailer? I did. I'm wondering how the game plays now. I'm really wondering. That's cool. Camera's crazy sometimes. Badass! Yeah, alright. That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Yeah, mobility might be a little too good. Who knows? Well, you actually get a shocking amount of, like, control when you're in this bird state. Ah! Whoa, that's what we saw earlier. Yeah, I feel like, once again, the more I see of combat and fighting, the more excited I get. Straight up. The more I see of combat and fighting, I'm like, all right. Yeah, I get it. I felt that way, man. And then I played it. I get it. Maybe the game slowly rolls out its mechanics so it's digestible. I hope so. You know? I hope so. In a way that's interesting. It has to. It legit has to. The issue is that even if it does, it's unintuitive, right? What? We have to re-download? Remove RA framework. I don't even know if I'm using it on anything. Just delete this folder, chat. Or is it the DI input? Gotcha. It's been a while since I ran into that problem. Oh, D input as well? We'll see if it does it again. Yeah. Um, Nothing else on the D input. All right, framework access files. It's got to be in the RE framework folder. No, that's the mod itself. DLSS shader cache. Texture compression mod, yeah. At the bottom, what are you guys seeing? Let me just do this. Let that do its thing. Uncle Kev, thank you. Zortkia, thank you. Jakia Tires, thanks for the bits. Bullet Jester. Appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna see what this fight's like. Gotta delete the decompressor. You had the same problem. See if the integrity fixes it. If not, we'll figure it out. Yeah, hold on a second. Dude, I heard this on Twitter. I couldn't believe how good it was. This shit sounds crazy. This is some like FF7 remake sounding shit. So cool. This is mad cool. Oh, I gotta take the baby to bed, chat. Give me 1 second. He's asleep. We'll let this finish, and then we'll get it booted. Hold on. Sorry, Chad, I'm back. I'm back. Let's see if that worked. Oh, updating. Okay, cool. Click chat. Click the middle video. Just click the middle one. Yeah, I really like Arkfeld. I think he's a cool boss fight. Shit. I like fighting him with a shield. He's got some very cool parry timing. I want the armor. Yeah, I do. I actually want the visuals of the gear. That's on Switch 2 VF5. No, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Hopefully it's good. You want to prepare for the Avatar fighter. Which game would you recommend you get into to somewhat learn the genre before release? To be real, if you want a game that feels the most like the Avatar fighter, you should buy a game on Steam called Skullgirls. Skullgirls probably feels the closest to that one. Has unique, crazy characters. Them's fighting herds? Yeah, legit. Actually close to it. But I would actually recommend Skullgirls. Dude, are these not available anymore? What the hell? Second Encore. Yeah. This is like the big version of the game. Yeah, and it goes on sale every once in a while too. For sure. And Skullgirls go through some big controversy. I mean, several times with developers. Yeah. In a multitude of ways it did. But it's essentially the first indie fighting game that found success, you know? All right, let's see how this works. Yeah, that game could go down to like very cheap on sale. I think in terms of game feel and speed, Skullgirls is probably the closest to the recent Avatar fighter. Confident, thank you. There we go. Now the shaders. I think Twitch chat on site is borked. It's working for me. Both of them are working good for me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up Greatsword for the new big ass Greatsword, dude. I'm gonna have to relearn how to play that shit. Is it bad that you upgraded to a 9800 X3D just for faster shade compiling? Yes. Yeah, what's the new one? The 9850 X3D? Slightly better one. Has Neo been stable for me? Getting crashes on AMD? I have not had a crash in Neo yet. Not yet. Did you get the 9850 X3D? A nice jump up from the 7800? No. No. It's a little bit of a jump. We're talking like 15%. Like maybe a little bit. But not many games I'm playing are going to be able to like utilize it. Or things I'm doing. Not really. And to be real, the power consumption to the 9000 series, like the 9800, is much more. Like, much more. It takes a lot more power. To be real, in terms of like gaming performance, I think the 7800 X3D was still very good. Which is why I chose that one, because like its compatibility across the board was really high. There's been some weird things with the 9800 series on some motherboards as well, in terms of power draw, that are a little funky. Yeah, on AS Rock boards and shit. Okay, let's see if this works. Want to see. Either way, yeah, I don't really see a reason to, I'm not really getting CPU bottlenecked, you know? After, oh wow. After having the 7800 X3D. Like, very few games are even able to, like, max out the CPU I currently have, you know? Features will be added to the Grand Hub for a limited time. What is this? Awesome. Any predictions when the AI bubble bursts and the PC prices go back to normal? When the current administration gets voted out. Here? There we go. Login bonus. Is this it? No, wrong button. So, 1 ticket, barrel bomb, voucher. Huh. Right. Okay. Can I bomb bowling? Bomb bowling.
Welcome. Here to roll or just roll with mine? Ah.
Engage with me. Let's roll. How does this work? Now boost and play when barrel bowling? I have not done this since it came out. Play. Boost and play. Sure. Boost my ass. So you just huck it? Huh. Hurry up, dude. Need to get 500? I can do that. Damn, that's a lot of shit. 10 max potions? God damn. So what do I need to aim for? What is like the big goal of the guy in the end? Do this. Yeah. My God. Oh, it blows up on... Ooh. That didn't go fast enough at all. What's the gimmick? Why not throw this thing way up here? Ugh! Damn. That could not have gone any worse. I think I could have maybe gone worse? Oh no. So, my game plan seems sound. Yeah. Let's just do that again, right? Let's just do that again. Bitch, why didn't you blow up the big cat? God damn it, man. Chat, I'm pissed. Oh, the big cat only explodes once? I don't know how the hell we're supposed to... That did not go the direction I thought it would, my dude. What the hell? I'm better at aiming this myself, like manually. Did not go in the direction I thought it would at all. I aimed and it didn't go there at all. Can only blow up the big cat once, yeah. I see. Oh my god, you idiot. Big stupid shit. B! 7. Not happy. Not happy. B! Let me refresh my stock and we'll just get to it. Just start fatting this bitch. No. Sorry, chat. Dying. Want to earn sword or AT arc? Let's go for sword. I'm sorry, let's go for AT arc first. Seems like it'd be fun. Everything's got insurance, wow. Funny cats. Oh, that was lobster? Weird.
Yes.
Let's check it out. Freedom from solitude. A big ass quest. Yeah, I'm curious on the gear. I mean, if not just for glam armor, Where do we have to put ourselves for Monster Hunter? It's like... Well, I get to remember how the buttons work. Here? Okay, I remembered how to do that. That's good. Yeah, okay. Okay. I remembered the skip the gameplay button. There's one thing I hope gets tackled in the next game. I think they found a pretty good balance of the difficulty with the focus system. They straight up need to do something about... That made me fall. They need to do something about how you engage the world. You stupid big lizard. Knock over my bird. I'm about to fight this guy out of spite. What's the shortcut for... Jesus, dude. They need to straight up work on the interacting with the environment, right? That's gotta change in the DLC. Holy shit! Okay, remember how to play. Jesus. Jesus. Oh my God. Wow. Jesus Christ, he's attacking fast as shit. I need to have shield on. Somebody's already dead. Oh God. Wow. Block, please. Oh. Does he actually get hit by traps? He does. Whoa! Whoa! I got smashed. Wow. Holy moly. This bitch is real. Where is he going? Dude, what is he doing? Did he leave? Oh, yeah! Damn, dude. Yeah, he's very aggressive. Holy shit. This fight looks serious, and he's doing a lot of damage. Oh! Hey, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Music's goddamn amazing. Ow. Oh! He's just... Good lord! Getting tossed. Where's he? Where? It's so hard to tell what's happening there. You son of a bitch. Time to go, time to go, time to go. Okay, big rally, big rally. Might die. Oh, yeah! Oh, my God! Okay. Oh, my God! I was not ready for the fourth one. And the fifth one!
That helps.
Wow, there was a fifth one. Holy shit. Bitch had an aerial rave.
Don't worry, you'll get him next time.
Attack the wings to power it down. Elemental damage? Okay. Wow. He does literally 5 to 7 hit combos, yeah. Cool. Oh, somebody has a great sword? Holy shit.
Is this Arkfeld manifesting guardian powers?
Who's talking? Holy shit. Vader's over here getting smashed. Okay. Oh wow, you're just mad at the Anjanath? No I'll take it. Damn, he busted his head with one hit. Oh my god, 5-hit combo? 5-hit combo. Jesus, his theme is amazing. Let's go. Oh! Dude, he did a scorpion thing. Ow. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Are you guys okay? Holy shit. Getting some good blocks in here. I gotta hit by something. The big explosion. Uh-oh. Oh my Christ. Dude, I didn't even tell he was attacking. Sight loss? What? Where the hell? Okay. Wow! Live, bitch! Live! Just block. Just blocking. Dude, who is over here? There's another monster. Okay, it looked like there was another monster. Jesus, can't see shit, Captain. Thanks, that helped. Let's go. There it goes. Holy shit, I got lucky as shit. Hold guard. Did not hold guard. Good shit. eat steak. This team is incredible. Oh my god. I'm holding guard! Let's go! Knock them down. Dude, what are these attacks? Got slapped. Hey, you and your fluffy butt. Hell. Dude, a Wilk Lord, chill. Somebody's on it? Where are you going? What the hell?
Regenerate, just like a guardian.
Let her rip! Is he leaving again? My god, dude. The health on this guy. There's a tail. Somewhere. Ooh, I got Carver too. 3 tails and 1 tail. Let's go. Holy sh... Oh my god. Holy shit. Block. I'm gonna get hit. Okay. Missed. Full cash out, full cash out. Let's go. Wow. Music's incredible, dude. Oh my god damn. What is this, Elden Ring? Holy shit, brother! What was that? Whoa, bro, what was with the Elden Ring attack? Chill. Ow. Shit. Not cool. damn it, fluffy butt. Let's go. Full cash out. Nice. Solid like 1,000 damage. Oh god damn, okay. Pitfall trap.
And even faster than a guardian.
Holding block. Oh my god, I'm holding block! I'm trying. I'm barely alive. Thank you. Clutch ass heal. Sport came in clutch. I was trying to get up to use a life powder, dude, and my ass got stuck. Who's doing all the healing? Paid actors. Final phase? Jesus Christ! Wish we could fight this dude anywhere but in this area. Oh my god. Chill, dude. Wait. The fluffy butt attack. Is that a weakness? Looks like he's showing weakness. Vine trap, let's go. Full cash out. Oh, crazy. Blast her off. Here we go. Guard? Oh shit. Pull down the fort. Oh shit. Another one down. Damn, this guy's serious. Popping seeds. So many fucking explosions. Ooh, one shot to the leg, knocked him down. Block. Please block. Holding. Hold. Hold. Dude, this part of the song is so cool. Ooh, the drag. Is he really leaving? Good lord, dude, this fight goes on forever. My god, man. Oh, he's got a skull, yeah. I got an explosive, so let's do it. Let's barrel bomb that ass. What's happening?
Hit a bomb.
This is insane. Holy shit, dude, this is fucking insane. Oh my god, it's a goddamn clown car. Oh, I don't know what I'm shooting at anymore! I don't know! Some explosions everywhere! Holy shit! Let's get the hell out of here. God, run! Please run! Getting stream sniped out here. Flash has no effect. That shit has officially stopped working. What the fuck? Dude! Get down, Mr. President!
Hit a bomb.
I got the sneak attack off. Did you see that? I don't know how. He wasn't aware of my presence? Is that it? Bum, 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 bum. Dude, will you fucking... I shit on you. I literally shit on you. I literally shit on you, dude. Leave me alone. Fucking leave me alone, you big asshole. Pear likes the shit. Ooh, that was crazy. Ooh, that hurt. I'm blocking for my life. Oh, god damn it. Got stuck in him. Thank you. Whoa, that was close. Which is so hard to see in this environment. Dude, who was that just flying by? What the? Looked like the basil juice, and he's not even in this game. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this area to fight in either. It's everything's so gray.
Thanks, that helped.
For a monster on the verge of death, this thing is living for a very long time. Big fucker. Oh, his fat ass. Dude, I need to eat steak again. There we go. Jesus, dude, I literally need to eat steak again. Damn, man. Guy pulled a lot of cards, that's for sure, even with being healed like crazy.
Such lovely coloration. Is it due to environmental factors?
What are you talking about? Look at this giant lizard we just killed. My God, man. Well, that was fun. $32-minute fight. Holy shit. 32 minutes. Damn. God damn. That's a big fight. He did not want to die. It's pretty normal. I mean, that's my first time doing this. That's a long ass fight. What do you mean, wondering what do you mean by wilds needs to interact with the world more? I played a lot of World and Wilds and both can interact with traps and things like that. The monsters and environments guaranteed to a higher degree. Besides that, World only had the tracking system and catching wildlife, not being rude or nothing. Dude, game auto-plays itself until I fight a monster. Straight up. Like, even in Monster Hunter Rise, which had you jump on top of a dog to run around, game has an autoplay button. Like, you press L1 and you press up, and the game autoplays itself until I get into a monster fight. It sucks. It sucks. The game just became Monster Fighter. Like, at least in Monster Hunter World, you had to know how the maps work, dude. Almost nobody knows how the maps work in this game. Like, straight up. You never have to. There's no reason to. And it's like, if your solution to that is, well, I do because you don't use it. Yeah, well, that's not part of the game design, you know? Like, the bird dog just takes you to wherever the hell you want to go. And you don't have to worry about it. Like, engaging with the maps and world was actually great. And I also just think the majority of maps in this game suck. I think the desert sucks. It's not as cool as the desert in even in Rise or World. I think the forest is pretty neat. I think the snow place is insanely forgettable. The ash place, the Wilk place, sucks. It just doesn't look great. And I can't even remember the last one. If there is a last one. Like, I just do not think that the maps look or are, like, visually engaging. To be honest, dude. They just don't look... Oil well. Yeah. Fucking oil well. I always forget the oil well exists. They all look, like, visually cluttered and not particularly neat to engage with. So it's like... Dude, I like the maps more in Generations Ultimate. So that's what I mean by, like, engaging with the world. Like, there's very little incentive to do it in this game. I think the maps look better in GU. They're at least, like, pretty and shit. It's like, wow, dude, this is so neat. You just stop in and smell the fucking roses every once in a while playing that game. I never stopped to smell the roses in this game, dude. Never. Never did I, like, look at a vista and go, God damn, this shit is cool. Look at this. This game never did that to me.
Hey, Bob. Welcome back. Can I help you with anything?
That's just me personally. You don't have to agree. I think they know that. I think they're aware. You know? Coral Highlands was so pretty. Holy shit, dude. Coral Highlands, and then you make the jump off of Coral Highlands. By the way, I loved that shit, by the way. The, the insane verticality on some maps, where you could, like, jump from the top of the map all the way down to the bottom or some shit. Coral Highlands kept going up and up and up and up, and massive jump, boom, like right onto the Lake Yana nest. Like, that shit was so cool. The Diablo's trap, where it gets stuck into the huge whirlwind of sand and shit like that. That never... Things don't happen that's nearly as cool as that in this game. Like, you can knock down waterfalls and stuff like that, and you can utilize the environment a little bit more. But nothing in Wilds felt as epic as breaking the dam in World, and then the Rathalos gets swept up in the dam. You follow it down the 2,000-foot drop, and it smashes the ground. Like, nothing hits that level of enjoyment, where it's like, God damn, let's go. Like, nothing in this game has done that. Even, I got that enjoyment out of Rise, dude. Because you can manually, like, do it yourself with wire bugs and shit. So I got those, like, dude, I'm gonna hit a true charge slash from, like, 30 meters away. Watch this shit. Boom, boom, boom. And you, like, smash down. Oh my God, dude. Super satisfying. Like, Rise sets up for that shit. And you get to control it yourself, which was really neat. Anyway, I feel like this game is less epic. That's pretty much it. This game just feels, overall, in my personal opinion, just less epic than Rise did and World does. And for a game that's called Wilds, it doesn't feel that wild. Like, I just feel like it, from a core gameplay design fundamental aspect, it feels like less overall. I think the combat is better. I like the focus system. But that came at a detriment that, like, the visceral satisfaction of, like, aiming attacks and being on axis with the creature became easy to do. This became easy to do. So, but that's just me, you know? I think it's gotten a lot better, though. I think the last where the game's at right now is a pretty good spot. And any further improvements from here on out, this game might be really sick. In future updates. Not a lot of wilderness when 70% of the time is spent in caves. Fair. I mean, fair. Except the one stage that isn't a cave, you know? You want them to start remaking older Monster Hunter games? No. No. I don't. I think outside of, like, key performance issues, this game had to, like... This game lacked focus. Like, straight up. I feel like... I feel like Capcom got to a point where it's like, dude, you can take gameplay accessibility too far. Like, I think you can. And I think this game is the perfect example of that you can take gameplay accessibility too far. Because people just didn't want to continue playing this shit. Nobody bought it after it came out. Performance issues aside, like, even the console version ran okay, and people just didn't want to continue playing it. Or, like, hunting with people and shit. I went and played GU. For fuck's sake. Lacks focus literally as a gameplay mechanic, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think outside of all the issues the game has, the core fundamental, the features of the game, its gimmicks, are not fascinating enough. It's like the herd mechanic, dude. What the hell's the point? Monsters travel in herds and you have to separate the herd. Right, but what does that do? Does it make anything interesting? It doesn't. They just happen. What about the weather? Does the weather make anything dramatically different when the weather happens? It's such a taxing element on the entire game, right? It's visually crazy, but does the weather really change anything? No, not really. Oh, it just makes my game run worse. Okay. That's the kind of shit. It lacks focus. That also makes the game look worse. Like the weather shit in this game, like you spend a huge amount of time in this fucking game with shit just gray and brown everywhere because of the weather. It's just foggy as fuck. And I can't see shit. And I don't like it, man. But I think there's a lot more fun to be had now than it was when it came out. Time for me to move to Greatsword. Oh yeah, let's check the armor.
See you again, Hunter.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I love the Rainforest map. I think it's great. I really, really, really like the Rainforest map. All my homies love Plentiful Forest. Dude, it's great. It's beautiful, too. And to be real, even Forest, when it's, like, dour, when it's, like, in rainfall, kind of sucks. Like, you just can't see anything. Plentiful Desert's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I think okay is the best way of describing it. The downpour atmosphere could not be bad, yeah. It's okay. It is raining. I mean, I get it. I get it.
Come on over.
And here's the thing, I'm not a hardcore player. And the issue is that they lost like me. Hardcore players are gonna play regardless, you know? Monster Hunter is gonna mon hunt. No matter what. But they don't need just the hardcore players. They need like the folks that will just play this shit, you know? And come back and engage with content on return. Which many people didn't, you know? They need to get like the mid to low level players to come back and engage and also buy the DLC when it comes out. Or, you know, tell their friends to go hunting with them so they can sell more copies of the game. Like that's what's actually like the issue. Is that the sales are indicative of a game that just isn't very engaging. Or they were. Now it's kind of hard to convince people to jump in and play this shit when their experience at the beginning was not necessarily great, and most people that are waiting for that to change are just waiting for it to change with the DLC. Wow. I need to change the look of this gear. Only about 50% bought the DLC for World and Rise. Yeah. I think 50% of people bought the Iceborne DLC approximately. Maybe a little bit more. And the same thing for Rise. So that's about normal. But still, the comparative sales is that this did not continue to sell upwards of like 15 to 20 million when it could have. But we'll see. Wax. Wyvern gem. So let's buy this one first.
I proceed.
Watch this.
Lend me a hand. Good.
So sick looking.
All right.
There we go. A burst. That's pretty good. Voice is pretty good. Burst on the head as well. That's pretty good. Oh, that helmet sucks.
Can I proceed?
Watch this.
Lend me a hand. Good.
All right.
Excuse me. Oh, that's what I got on right now. Flare, weakness, exploit, Wex, hurt element, elemental absorption, flare. Interesting. Did I beat Neo 3? No, that game's huge. You'll be on Neo 3 for 3 months. Well, we need 3 more certificates at least. Yeah. Pretty much 3 more tickets. Jesus, man. Was there any more collabs in this besides Akuma? Not yet. Right? Not yet? I don't think so. One sec, chat. Yo, Sharpen Lego, thanks for the prime, dude. Oh yeah, the FF14 collab was great. It was good. I think the fight was actually wonderful. The fight was very cool. But Behemoth though. You know? Behemoth is just too cool.
Hey, Hunter. I have a bunch of things the others gathered for you.
Carrots. Is it Guardian Arkvel? No, that ain't right. Right? It's like Arkveld Y, yeah. Cool. Jesus. Fluffy. What's this shit glowing so hard? Did you get that shirt? The shirt's from like 15 years, no, 11 years ago. Like a random t-shirt website. Damn. Red shit looks cool. Pretty neat. Hey, it's daytime.
I can tell you put a lot of thought into that ensemble.
Oh, shut up, Alma.
Do you have a moment? I have a lot of things for you from everyone.
Nata, shut the hell up. Stop talking to me.
Ooh, I'm liking this image. Ah!
Yeah.
And request complete.
I'm here
Mr.
to play
Grumpy
real.
Pants over here. Poor Alma. Poor lady. Yeah. The glass sword. What is the glass sword quest? Ace the King, thank you for the prime, dude. Event quests? Every hunter's dream? What the hell? 4 chemitrices? Weird. In the Wounded Hollow? 1 Mizu and 4 chickens at the same time? Keeters has it up. Huh. They do a lot of damage, so beware even chicken. Even the chimkin? Have to unlock proof of a hero. Right. What is the chat, what is the proof of a hero quest unlock at? Do you have to do something for it? Do you have to give me a certain MR? Or an optionals? Oh, this thing. Look at that crazy shimmery bullshit. Gotta beat all 9-star triple hunts? Oh. So you gotta beat this one, and this one, and this one. Gotcha. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they set up to that. A lot. A lot of fun content in the end. Chad, I'm gonna have to call it at that today, though. I wish I could stream more. But it's just a rough night for me. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a break so I can come back stronger and hopefully have energy to do this stuff. Anyway, I would like to make a great sword build. I really would. But I'll be back. We also got to play through RE4 Remake. So stay tuned. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself another day. Hopefully I'll feel a bit better. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. Foxicon, K1 Union, Ace the King, Rascalis, Skepsipol, Gabriel Hawk, Game Prodigy, Lego, and Cascos. Thanks, guys. All right, chat. Thank you all. Have a good one. Shine on. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.